Greetings from planet Earth. Remember the globe? Remember the equator? Oh, and look at, there we are, United States. We're right about there in Minnesota. I like to take this, when I was little, we had a globe, and I would spin it, and I would wait till it would stop, and I would put my finger on that spot, and I would go, okay, I'm gonna go to the country of Chad in Africa. I would always think, and then I'd look it up. That's a good thing to do. Spin the globe if you have it, and then wherever your finger ends up, I ended up on the Caribbean. Look up things about the Caribbean. It's kind of a fun thing to do. YouTube has lots of information. So the reason I spun the Earth Day is because today is Earth Day. It is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. Earth Day is taking care of the planet. Earth Day is being environmentally friendly. Earth Day is taking care of yourself, because if you take care of the planet, everybody's healthier. Taking care of the planet makes everybody healthier. So back in 1970, a long time ago, 50 years ago, a bunch of people started noticing that we were not taking care of the planet. We were driving too much. We were making too much waste. We were buying too much that we didn't need. There were all sorts of things that we were using. We were leaving our lights on in our houses. We were letting the water run when we brush our teeth, and all sorts of things that were really, really bad for the planet. We need to keep the air clean that we breathe. We need to keep the water clean that we drink and that the animals live in and breathe too, right? We need to keep our forests. We need to stop chopping down the rainforest, because remember, the rainforests produce through photosynthesis oxygen, and everything needs oxygen to live. We also need water. Water is very important. Our bodies are made up of mostly water. So we need to keep everything clean so we can be healthy. So healthy planet, healthy people. So there are 5 R's that we need to talk about. Usually you only hear 3. They are refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. The first one and the last one are new ones that I just learned through Jane Goodall. I accepted an environmental challenge from her through her Roots and Shoots program, and I've learned a few things from her. So refuse is being considerate of what you buy and eat and not getting or wasting unnecessary things. So eat your leftovers. Make sure that your food doesn't go to waste in the refrigerator. If you see that things are starting to get bad or on their last leg, make a stir fry, or maybe make some kind of a dessert with them. There's all sorts of sources on the internet that you can look at to maybe make things better, or do an experiment with them, or take an apple and cut it up into a shape and make art with it. You can paint it and make art with an apple or a banana. I mean, not a banana, apple or potato. Reduce is the next one. That's limiting the amount you use or buy. So you want to just make sure that you only buy what you need. And you also want to make sure that when you are buying those things, you're looking at the packaging. Because one of the biggest things that pollutes our planet is plastic. So when you're buying vegetables, I have special bags, I wish I brought them in, that I put my vegetables in, and I reuse them. I don't take those plastic bags all the time, because they get they are bad for the planet. I use a bag for my groceries, so I don't have extra plastic bags that are going out into the environment. I try to buy things that are recyclable in recyclable containers, like glass, plastics that are 1, 2, 4, or 5, and also aluminum. Aluminum can be recycled. So just keep those things in mind when you're buying things, because a lot of our products are like packages inside of packages inside of packages, and that's just more garbage, which dirties up our planet. The next one is reuse, making old things new to cover things you would usually buy new. Now, you could reuse those bags maybe, like sometimes those bags that I get produce in, if I forget or if it's already in there, I keep those bags. If you have a dog, I'm sure that some of your parents use those, or maybe the newspaper bags that your newspapers come in. to pick up your doggy's poop. So they're reusing it that way. So there are ways to reuse that plastic as long as it doesn't get thrown into the water or out into the environment where animals can get hurt. You can reuse clothing. Some of you might have an older brother or sister that you get clothes from. You can reduce it. Or a lot of people are using some t-shirts right now to make elastic bands for masks for people. So there are lots of ways. I had a shirt on the other day I told you about that my mom did, where it had a stain on it, and she painted on it. She painted those beautiful snowdrops and reused the shirt. So there are a lot of ways you can reuse. Another great thing is trash. Claire just stopped by and she told me she made a robot out of recycling. Go into your recycling bins and see if you can make something out of it. You know, sometimes you can do things with milk cartons or cans or all sorts of things from your recycling that you could maybe refashion into something like art for your garden. Anything. Use your imagination. Always be thinking about using your imagination. The next one you all know about. It's recycling. And you know that here in the classroom we have a bin for recycling. That's glass, plastic, aluminum, and there are other things, like we have bins out here in our hallway where we could take old toothpaste tubes. We recycle our deadhead markers. We recycle those containers that either yogurt or applesauce comes in. Anything that's got a foil lining, we have a place to recycle it. So what you're doing is you're making your garbage smaller so there's less garbage going into the landfill. Because when you have a bigger garbage can, that's more garbage. And I have the smallest garbage can because we compost and we recycle and we reduce our packaging. We make sure to reduce our packaging, which saves you money, because the smaller container you have for your garbage, the less you have to pay. And you don't have to pay for recycling. So once again, the less garbage you make, the more money you save. The more you recycle, the more money you save. The more you reuse things, the more you save. The more you reduce things, you save. And the more you refuse to bring that stuff into the world, you save. The last one is rot. Rot or compost. Remember, Mr. Yum Yum? Mr. Yum Yum is our composting bin that we use in the classroom. And after snack, you guys would throw your leftover food if you didn't finish it, and your napkins and your compostable cups into Mr. Yum Yum. And he was very happy. He's been very, very sad lately because there's nothing going in him. So that is just turning your food scraps and other waste into soil. You can do that at home too. We do it with our garden. We we have a compost container on our counter that we put all our compost in, like our coffee grounds and oranges and like anything when I'm making vegetables, like the ends of onions and carrots and the seeds from green peppers. All those sorts of things can go into your composter, and then we take the composter out to our garden. My husband has a vegetable garden, and we dump it in there. And then if you till it into the soil, it eventually breaks down and becomes dirt. And it's really full of lots of yummy stuff for the plants. Who knew? So make sure you're composting. I mean, composting is pretty easy. You can get a big bin, and you just want to stir it up every now and then because you want to keep it moving. And between the heat and the sun is really good. So if you have a black container, that's the best, because the hotter it is, the better the compost breaks down. Even in the winter, the black gets hot and it breaks it down. So those are the 5 R's: refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. Another thing you can do is plant trees. As we said, in the rainforest, unfortunately, planting a kapok tree will take years to get it back to its natural state. It takes years and years and years. But we can expand our forests and plant trees, and they've been doing that a lot. And the reason we do that is, again, the trees produce oxygen through photosynthesis. So if we're chopping down trees, we want to make sure that we're replacing them because we need that oxygen. Drive less. Walk more. That's what's really great about what's going on right now. If there's anything great about what's going on right now, a lot of people are getting out and walking places as a family. A lot of people are staying in, so things are getting less polluted. And the animals, the wild animals, are coming out of hiding. They've said, for example, in Italy they have all these canals throughout the city, and they said that because people aren't on there with their boats, the dolphins are coming in from the sea into the canals because the water is cleaner. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being in your house looking out the window and there's a dolphin? Oh, that would be so amazing. So there are goats running wild in a city in England. So there are all sorts of things happening around the world that us not going out and driving everywhere and flying everywhere is helping the environment. It's kind of nice that that's happening, and it would be nice if people kind of took note of that and continued it. Solar and wind power. You know, at my little house, I've got solar panels for my electricity and my water. I like to walk to work, and we live in a walkable score. Check your walkable score out on Zillow or whatever. They have a walkability score, and we have a pretty good walkability score. Usually means you're close to a grocery store or places to eat out and things like that. Coffee shop probably is on there. It just means that you live in a neighborhood where you can walk to things and it's good for the environment. So check out your walkability score. My husband is always checking those out. Protecting the marine areas, protecting our oceans. Again, remember we learned about sea glass? We don't want to be throwing bottles into the sea. A lot of that is from garbage, and we don't want to do that. And the marine animals, when they see plastic, like I said, if they saw this plastic glove floating in the water, they might think that it's a fish, and they'll eat it. And then when they eat it, it doesn't break down, and it can kill them. So really important, eat less meat. I don't know if you know, my daughter Maddie is vegan and she doesn't eat any meat, and so she's kind of helped me to see that there are things out there that I can eat that help the environment. There's a lot of stuff that goes up in the air when animals go to the bathroom. It's called methane, and it's not really good for us. But eat less meat, eat more vegetables. I love the Beyond Meat burger. It tastes just like a hamburger. And their cheese is really good too. So just maybe try to have at least one day a week where you don't eat meat. Like Meatless Monday is a big thing. So just try to do that maybe. Speak up. Show your voice. Give your voice. That's what these kids in the rainforest video were doing. They were using their voices, and that's what I'm hoping you guys will do once you get a little bit older. That you will say, we want a planet that's beautiful. We want to grow up in a planet that's clean and beautiful, and we want to save money while doing it. We want to keep this planet nice for our children, because someday maybe you'll have a family. And the last thing is grow your own food, which next week, speaking of which, next week we're going to do that. So remember to start collecting eggs, clean them out, of course, clean out the eggs once they're emptied. Try to keep them as, you know, like maybe just crack off the top of it, and then you can just store them in one of the egg cartons. And we're going to be planting some flowers and vegetables in there. So try to start collecting those for when I do the video on that. And you'll need some dirt and you'll need some seeds. So hopefully, I think Target does have them. So if you do go on a food run, maybe just add that to your list when you go out on one of your limited runs. So I guess that's it for me. Happy Earth Day. It's the only one we got. It's the only one we got. So please take care of the planet. Please take care of yourselves. A healthy planet is a healthy you. All right? Peace out.